started. We are behind time a little bit. So we have a great panel here, a fairly diverse panel. So why don't I first start with introductions? My name is Abhishek Gurgatia. I'm a blockchain lead at Accenture Ventures. So a little bit about Accenture and what role it has played in the blockchain space. We've been fairly active in the blockchain space for almost 3 years now, and of course, serving our clients across different industries. Initially educating them on what blockchain is all about and how it can help them. And for the past year or so, we've been running several POCs with them. Initially, as I'm sure a lot of you know, a lot of the focus was on financial services. But in the past 9 months or so, or about a year, a lot of chatter has picked up in every industry imaginable. Frankly, we have more demand than we can fulfill. We're seeing a number of use cases being experimented with across the board, and it's really exciting. The company is really buzzed by blockchain, and so at Accenture Ventures, my role is to keep a tab on startups like this. Really figure out what they're doing, what problems they're solving for our clients, and bring them into the right client opportunities so that collaboratively we can solve some interesting problems. So with that, like I said, we have a diverse panel here. I think we have some Stuart here focusing on consumers. There are some peer-to-peer startups, and also Showcard, which is focused on the enterprise. So why don't we start with a quick round of introductions with you, Stuart? If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what problem you're solving using blockchain.
Sure. So my name is Stuart Dennis. I'm the founder, CEO, and lead engineer of BitBounce. We have a cryptocurrency spam solution. So the problem we're solving is email spam, which costs the global economy about $20 billion per year. We're backed by Tim Draper, who is, who also bought 10% of our Credo tokens that we've created, and we have about 15,000 users for BitBounce right now, active users. We're adding a few hundred per day, and we're having an ICO right now that's ongoing, and we've so far sold about $2.75 million in the public sale, with more in the pre-sale as well. So it's an exciting time for us. I also have a computer science degree from Stanford, and I built a service called Turing Cloud.
Hello, I'm Sean Bawani. I'm with Showcard. Joined the company about 2 weeks ago, so I'm new. I'm learning, I do my best, to represent the company. Our CEO was supposed to be on the panel, but unfortunately couldn't make it, today. Showcard offers the next generation of identification through two solutions. One is Showcard Identity Management and Show Badge for the enterprise. Identity, as we all know, is who we are. And when you think about it, is how other people see us. So we store your identity on the blockchain. That way you can share it with anyone and whoever you want. When it comes to the enterprise, everything now relies on a username and a password, kind of a proxy for logins and for a real person. So we built this patented solution that does away with username and passwords. So no other reason to store anymore or protect or save username and passwords. You can use our Show Badge app to be able for where a user can log in, authenticate themselves on any device, and be able to securely authenticate that through leveraging the blockchain, to be able to be tamper-free as well as no man-in-the-middle attack.
Hi, my name is Alex Bessonov. I'm a founder and CEO of a company called Bitclave. We are building a decentralized search. It's an idea that is going to disrupt the industry. It's one of the biggest industries, search industry. Our solution is attacking a problem of middlemen in search space. We create an opportunity for people to monetize their personal identity, kind of similar to what Showcard doing there. We are focused on building identity of users on internet, but with an assumption that people will be able to get paid for their searches, and they will get targeted advertisement versus what we see right now is just a spam of millions of ads that we see every day. We solve the problem for both consumers and businesses. We believe that right now the world is not set up in a proper way. We think it's really going towards bigger corporations, and blockchain is a technology that essentially enables this use case and helps us to create an ecosystem where small players and medium-sized players will be able to participate and will be able to reach out to their audience.
Thanks. My name is Killian Tobin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Omega Grid. We are a decentralized blockchain-based energy platform, and we help companies like PG&E deliver low-cost, greener energy to their communities.
So why blockchain? I mean, the answer, I guess, sort of seems obvious. One of the criticisms in the blockchain space is that everybody started treating blockchain as a hammer that's looking for a nail. So spend maybe a minute defending that. I mean, in your respective areas, do you really need blockchain to solve the problem that you're solving, or can it, I mean, what's the delta between the solutions that are already out there today, if anything, and what you're trying to do? Okay, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'll jump in on this because we don't need blockchain to do what we're doing, but it makes it more secure and it makes it more resilient, and that helps the grid, and it also helps take some of the transaction costs out of it. So it's an improvement, it's a utility that helps us do what we're trying to do.
I think the fact that it's not corruptible, that's a plus, specifically when it comes into identity. To be able to alter kind of a unit of information on the blockchain would require a massive amount of computing to be able to alter the entire records, or the entire network. In that case, I think it's really important. The fact that no single entity owns it, I think it's a huge plus. Identities move into individuals. Individuals will own their identity in the future, and you will be able to share whatever you want with whoever you want. And I think that's kind of the new paradigm that's going to happen.
So for us, while you can think of blockchain as kind of a distributed data store, that you could also store some of that information in something like Redis or Postgres or another database, then you think, what are the properties of a blockchain that make it attractive or better to store that information there? And so for us, there are a few of those properties, such as faster transaction confirmation times. It's important to have timely delivery of emails, so being able to confirm a transaction or seconds or minutes is a big advantage. Irreversibility of transactions is a big one, so that someone doesn't just pay for an email to go through and then reverse the transaction as soon as they've received a response. And there's other things such as assuring users that they actually received the payment. So if we just have a database, well, that could be hacked or corrupted, whereas they know on the blockchain there's a public ledger that has a distributed consensus mechanism showing that they have received that value. So I think there's a number of properties of blockchain that make it better for our situation, but there might be other cases where it actually doesn't really make sense to do it using a blockchain.
So for us, there is a lot of value on blockchain. I think the product that we are developing would not be possible if not the decentralized system like blockchain. We rely on multiple things here. We definitely rely on the fact that it's not owned by one central authority like Google. And if somebody wants to disrupt Google right now, it's pretty much impossible unless you have the infrastructure like blockchain. We do rely on integrity protection and security that comes from blockchain. The blocks are immutable, and the data that is getting stored there will be there, and you cannot just come and fake. One of the problems that we are solving is bots on the net that right now eating about 50% of the market by either it's automated bots or click farms, and blockchain allows us to solve this and attack this very efficiently.
So how are customers reacting to that though? I mean, I get that there's no centralized entity who's controlling it, there's security, faster confirmation times, there's different properties of blockchain that you're utilizing. But in most of your cases, you are going up against existing incumbent solutions. So how are your customers reacting to this message? Do they care? I mean, most people don't seem to care that search is centralized with Google or identity is sort of centralized with Facebook. Most people don't care. Bitcoin decentralized money, sure, it's gaining traction, but it's still a fairly small group of people who are excited about Bitcoin in its true sense. Obviously, a lot of people are in it for the speculative aspect of it. So just talk to us about what you're seeing out there in the marketplace as you talk to your customers.
Well, firstly, I'd say I think it's an advantage to use blockchain in marketing because there's a whole niche of people that are crypto enthusiasts who will actually use your product because it uses blockchain or crypto. So it actually helps attract early adopters. Secondly, our case is a little bit different because although there are things like Bayesian spam filters, they haven't really solved the problem. Estimates are still that spam costs $20 billion per year and 70% of emails are still spam. And so the problem hadn't really been solved, so our solution is more additive than completely displacing something, but I think it's an advantage in terms of marketing.
I think, when we're talking to customers, one of the things that we see quite a bit is there's still a level of education that we need to do as all of us to be able to help clients understand the value of the blockchain. I think the clear value of the proposition of what the business solutions that we're offering to them. So they're looking, questions that they usually have is longevity of the tech, compliance. They looking at costs, and how is this going to work with adjacent and current systems that they have. So there's a lot that we have to be able to explain to them. Identity for Fintech, for example, it's obvious, know your customer is a big problem. There's a lot of fraud, in banking. Even, 1%, is high, considering how much money moves globally. So knowing your customer is very, very important. Identity, solves, for that. Using the blockchain, I think we still have to teach, customers and educate them into the process.
What we see from our customers is really the ability to target more precisely, to know your users and being able to really provide the value of this advertising money. Everybody's spending tons of money, the budgets are huge, and the base is very obvious. Also, the ability of ecosystems that allows you to essentially benefit, it's a benefit for customers, it's a benefit for end users, and our customers appreciate it. We don't see how you can create a value of yourself today with existing middleman structures, and we also believe that blockchain going forward will simplify the process a lot and will create this marketplace where people will start finally will be more liberated from the things ads all the time when they don't need them, and really get to the point where they see ads when they want to see them and when they are looking for specific services.
Yeah, and from a B2B context, a lot of my clients are at once fascinated and also very concerned about being disintermediated. So they look at it from both sides of the coin. But primarily, security is so important to them that they see it more as a tool than a big extra risk. So it has turned out to be a great advantage as they explore how they might be able to use it as well.
So Killian, I guess as you're talking to the enterprise customers and even to the rest of the panel, where do you see the blockchain industry in its maturity curve? Are the projects still in the labs stage where people are just playing around with it and they're not sure what to do with it? Do you think they understand the value that blockchain brings to them and they're excited about it and it's going into the mainstream businesses? And along with that, also, do you think the technology is mature to be deployed in production? A lot of the blockchain technologies out there, at least from my perspective, seem to be still finding their way and are not ready. That's a question we get all the time. So would love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, the first part of it is I do see it being adopted, widespread adoption in the utility sector. I think there's enough interest and enough utility for the actual tool that it will pick up. But it is not, I don't believe it's ready yet for widespread adoption. And some of that is perception. A lot of it is perception, to be honest. And then there are tools that need to be developed around accessing the information and auditing the information and providing that sort of extra view into what's on the chain, speeding up transactions, things like that. And so it's fun. I mean, we get to invent things and we get to prove it out. But I know that my clients think about doing everything in the millions of customers, and that's their initial thing. And you know, even some of the most mature blockchain platforms out there aren't at that level. They don't have that yet. So there's going to be things that we're going to discover as we go forward. I'm looking forward to it.
I have a couple of spaces to two. One is what I see from my personal experience on blockchain, and I think the technology is getting there. I think we are probably just a couple of years away from mass adoption in many different areas. And I think kind of on my personal level, when I started 5-6 years ago looking into Bitcoin and the way I was very skeptical about the technology, I see how it makes its progress. It's very clear that the technology is coming to the maturity where it's going to be used very broadly. And then specifically for our industry, we actually are coming from an angle of simplifying the use of blockchain for our customers and also for end users. We would like to bring the mass adoption of blockchain technologies. So for example, everybody in the room here is getting targeted for advertising, and we're all suffering from this problem, and Bitclave offers a solution where you can monetize your data. And so at the very least, you guys can check it out at some point, which will enforce you to create your own wallet and get into cryptocurrency, which is essentially kind of the next step for mass adoption. So I think what we do is actually, we are relying on technology, but we're also promoting technology going forward. And that goes both ways, for consumers and for retail, which, they don't need to know much about blockchain. They get the benefits, but they don't have to know about the technology itself.
Yeah, well, on the first question, we actually are doing some enterprise proof of concepts as well for marketing use cases. And there, I think it's helpful to sort of sell to the choir. People, companies have already expressed interest in blockchain. On the second point of maturity, because we built on Ethereum, and I think it's good enough. It's not that mature, and we still have to do some really low-level stuff like parsing byte data and checking, doing stuff at such a low level that I don't think we should have to do. But I think it is sufficiently mature. I've made this point before as well about the decentralized stack. I think that's not ready. You have to build applications, unless they're a small number of them, or use cases, as a hybrid application with some central and decentralized components. But I think the technology is at least sufficiently mature for to bring solutions to the mainstream.
Last question from me, and I know we have like 5 minutes left, so maybe we'll have time for 1 or 2 audience questions. Besides what you're focused on, each of you, what other use cases are you excited about in the blockchain space? Maybe just one for each, if you have any.
I'm excited about their use case. Also, there's Uport and Civic that are doing some stuff with identity as well, but that's a problem we experience with verifying responder authenticity. I think it's got a lot of applications outside that too.
You don't get to cross-promote here.
I'm excited about,
I was not paid by that.
I think a very good use case, is for healthcare. It's in the news. And one of the things, right now, it's really tough to be able to go to your doctor and have your medical record, for years, and you want to be able to, you're traveling, you want to share it with another doctor, provider, and so on. It's almost impossible to do, and it's tedious, also as well. I think, in this circumstance, you will help, kind of share, that information in a very secure way, and maintain, the privacy. So that's a really good use case. I think could be used, for voting, because there's a lot of fraud, happening, there. So imagine you'd be able, to vote, on your smartphone or tablet or something like that, and have the results, that are verifiable, in a second. So I think,
Actually, there's so many projects that I'm excited about. I do like the spam, and no promotion here, but I was fighting spam for a long time, and I think it's a great idea. I look into smart cities. I think there's a lot of IT projects that will be coming out at some point that would make a lot of sense. I think anything that is related to pure decentralization, where you can bring a lot of people on board or machines in case of IoT, I think these use cases are going to be very interesting. So I personally think that the blockchain future is pretty bright, and I think every day I'm learning about new projects that are pretty cool. So I think it's a really nice beginning of something big right now.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by, we've had a lot of projects as far as digitizing money, digitizing companies, and other sort of ethereal assets, right? But I'm excited about the opportunities to jointly manage shared physical assets and how that might play out. I think it's very early to even start thinking about that, but I think EOS had some kind of inroads into that earlier today, and I thought that was very interesting.
Maybe one audience question. I know, Brett, we are out of time, but maybe if anybody has like a pressing question to ask from one of the panelists, go for it. All right. Okay.
For Stuart, I was wondering if BitBounce would be able to integrate with like Gmail or something, or do you have to sign up for your own account?
It is. We integrate with Gmail, Exchange, IMAP, pretty much all email services. The spam solution works at the server level, so that you just authenticate and it starts working. We also have an incentivized response use case, and for that we're building plugins. So you'd have to use, in order to send an incentivized response, you have to do that through our dashboard right now, and we're going to have plugins so you can do that from the native client.
All right. With that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much. This was great. Thank you.